Welcome back to Indian Trace. Where are we going from here? This is part 2 of Top Talk. And we still haven't even, with all these, check out these. We just looked at these. This is going to be fun because it's going to get even more smoking. I mean, I have already decided on a couple of top shelf stuff that I'm going to take a look at that's not seen often. Well, you guys out there see it more often than anybody, but as you take a glimpse at some of this stuff, we're going to get into it. And I've got another fantastic discussion. At least what I feel is fantastic. If you don't, hey, you don't have to come back. I mean, just unsubscribe. It doesn't really matter. But if you do, I guarantee some of this stuff will fire you up. It'll change your life. I mean, look at this stuff. So indeed, if you just happen to be floating through and you just clicking, and you see something like this, organized like this is the way I do artifacts. At least for now. It could change. I try to change videos in the way I approach them all the time. I mean, mercy. Good friends hanging out together right there. But as you can see, if you're a fisherman, that's a heck of a tackle box. I just do these views. I know a lot of you see them already for somebody who's clicking in, who sort of surfs in here and is surfing around the web and happens to pick something up and says, what on earth is that? Well, last video, Top Talk, we handled the Vault 7 Julian Assange report on CIA, and we pulled these off the top shelf, which means, as I'm going to do it today, we took one out of every bin on the left side of this top. That's why it's Top Talk. We haven't even gone over here. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, you can see it from here. Unbelievable artifacts. But what goes with that, and for these North American Indians, it was vital. Their way of relating with one another, even relating with what we called government when we got here. These are what we came in last time. Just opening in review. We're not going to spend any time talking about these. Just take a quick look at them again in little sets. It's medicinal. It's medicinal. But to these Indians, and the reason why I always give now, as part of my duty, of course, political interest links and political discussion, is because it was vital for these people. Could have been done better. Lots that was done was wrong. But one thing that couldn't happen, because there were some people that felt too important of themselves, is they wouldn't listen to the great reason and the great ideas that the North American Indian politicians, speechmakers had. They wouldn't listen. So we're going to start right up in this top bin, and it's a Top Talk. And we're going to take a look at these. I'm just going to pull one out of there. Great little point right here from Sacred Sands. And I'm going to put them again over on our little blanket. It's funny how the blue makes almost, makes the flint almost, at least to me, look yellow. I haven't figured out why it does that. Okay, I'm just playing around there. Now, here's the thought. I have a political interest link today. This video on part 2 of Top Talk. That's actually a 2-part series, but I'm only going to put one link up there. You can follow it to the other. I've got it on my political interest link folder. And it is a conversation between Alex Jones and Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report. Here's a little background. Dave Rubin used to work with Young Turks until he realized who was funding and what the Young Turks as liberals, but leftists, and I don't mean that as an insult, really believe. Look at this point. I was over at Hidden Alley the other day, and that's why I went, because this is the kind of stuff comes out of Hidden Alley, not Hidden Valley. My goodness, we're going to be eating granola bars. Hidden Alley, put this out. Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report is having just a great mind. Just a couple great minds. Listen to him and Alex Jones talk about politics, but specifically talking about the word cult. It's funny, because I'm not calling anybody a cult. Now, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or you're conservative or an independent, anybody can be part of a cult when it comes to the United States of America. To me, being part of a cult would be somebody who openly, consistently is against the constitutional freedoms afforded to us in the Constitution of the United States, which represent and make the foundation to our nation. If you don't like that, we can approach it a different way. Approach it a different way. Look at those 2 points. And try to handle it through changing legislation, changing laws, so you have the people that are necessary to do that. Look at this little point. Just pulling them right off, one per bin for Top Talk today. And this focus, I don't know if it's working. This little Marl Mountain. Just like a diamond, right? I'm often very concerned whether or not the focus is working. So I'm trying to take my time to see if that's happening. Oh, I don't think it is. Let me try here. This stuff is picking up a lot of light. Look how loud that probably sounds. I know on my microphone it does. That one's getting lost, so I'm going to just pull another. Look at this. Triangles are not made that often out of quartz. Not that often. So, in terms of the discussion that you're going to hear, if you go to the political interest link that I have right here on this video, I encourage you to do it. I encourage you because I think it'll increase your life, just to have more understanding about things going on and good subjects to discuss. Because I'm going to promise you, Alex Jones and Dave Rubin don't agree with one another, but they're not arguing. They're having a great discussion about what it means and what a cult is, and what this cult of the American left has been. Now, I grew up with people who were liberals, and they weren't at all like these crazy freaks across our nation who don't have any education, who have no foundation of American history in their blood. What a poor, poor situation. Nice triangle there. As we go right down, this is some good stuff. I mean, look at this point right here. Mercy. And so, as I said, you can, if you declare yourself a Democrat or a Republican or conservative, it doesn't matter. If you don't support constitutional freedom, if you don't support the Bill of Rights, and you decide you're going to just go and dance and make up your own stuff about what it means to be free, about what it means to be an American, then you're all mixed up. Because what it means to be an American is what the Constitution of the United States, its Constitution, says we are. That's the bottom line. And what the Bill of Rights affords us, because we were born, because God has endowed us with certain undeniable, inalienable rights, such as life. Look at that point. Liberty, that came from Notchville, that's open. And the pursuit of happiness. Now, if you don't support that, if you're resistant against that, then you're in a cult. That is the true definition of a cult. And so it was really interesting to hear their discussions. And it confirmed a lot of things that I knew and that I've studied. Just for the sake of knowing something and making sure I do, without making comments in ways that would be self-defeating if I don't really know something about something. Well, I guess right on the top, I was going to grab this other one. I'll grab another one. I know it's from Notchville already. Notchville puts out a lot of points, and of course you can see why we call it Notchville. So you'll hear the background, Dave Rubin explaining why he left the Young Turks. And please, it wouldn't even be worth your time, but if you really want to, you can see the bias of Young Turks, and you can go ahead and Google it and watch it anytime you want. It's pitiful. I didn't need to spend much time, and I'll never go back again because they are a waste of time. They're a cult. Why? Somebody say, well, how dare you call somebody a cult? Listen, they do not support constitutional freedom. They do not support freedom of speech. They do not support the Bill of Rights as framed in our nation. And indeed, it is not that our nation is perfect. I always say that to people. And in terms of trying to support Trump, he's the first one to say, look at these points coming out of the top shelf stuff. As I just sail right down here. Unbelievable stuff. Mercy. what's going to be in this bin. You can see these bins. I mean, you just be able to fish one out and just have a good time with it. So Dave Rubin and Alex Jones have a fantastic discussion that is just impressive. And there's a 2-part series, but I'm going to put the 1 part up, as I said. You will be encouraged about their discussion about being able to reason and talk about politics, about things I think that are vital if our nation's going to continue. And believe me, we were in peril. And it's an incredible time right now to be thankful and alive. I told my 10th graders in 10th grade United States history when I used to teach that and during 9/11 when we were attacked, I said, sure as you live, up the road, not too far, this nation's going to hit it. And we're going to fight again another war. And it's going to be internal. And it's going to be the next American Revolution. And indeed, we are here now. I have old students come up to me and say, Mr. Houston, you were right. You were right. And I just say thank you very much. I appreciate that. But it's really not about being right. It's about what this nation can be for you and for your children. That's a nice point, isn't it? That came from Site 7. It's really what it's about. It's not about any one person being right. Look at this point as we get finished. So you're going to hear that today. Alex Jones and Dave Rubin, I knew what Roberson was, discussing that even though their popularity is going through the roof. I mean, talking about 40 million views a week for Alex and Dave Rubin, and the Rubin Report is exploding as well. These conservative alternative networks, and now Rubin is gay. He is, I think, in a state that allows gay marriage. Now, I don't support that at all, and Alex Jones doesn't support it, but he knows that, and we could sit and talk and, have a dinner and have a great discussion about politics and about the First Amendment and about what it means to be free in the United States. He has a right to choose that, even though I don't support it, even though I can't teach it because I believe it's a fatalistic flaw of a human nature. He can listen to that and say, okay, I understand how you feel, but I'm not going to change. And I'd say, okay, I feel for you. I'll pray for you. And we'll laugh, But that is not totally, look at that point, my goodness, top talk. And so that's who Dave Rubin is. And don't resist it because I told you about part of the propensity of who he is. Check it out and hear the contrast between Alex Jones and Dave Rubin, and just an incredible balance of the way we need to have discussion in this country, and we need to revitalize this country, if you will. And we can do it with help if everybody does their part. And this is part of mine. I've sworn an oath of duty to protect these artifacts and save what I can, as much as now to continue to uphold nationalism, the United States of America, for my sons, for the ideal of freedom. Somebody may ask, look at that Guilford Yuma, will you? I found this across the street from me and just up the street. I mean, from here, 700 yards from my house. And it's full. Another lot that's for sale. Hasn't been farmed recently. I could dig it if I wanted, but I simply don't have the time. Sure makes me want to dig it. I find great Guilford Yumas like that. You can see there's the part of the flake right there. Just a great piece. Mercy. Mercy, mercy. Why freedom? Why all this freedom stuff? Somebody said once on my channel. I laughed. I said, because freedom has brought everything that you consider to be awesome, that you consider to be nice, things that you don't want to do without. Last point from Site 7. Look at this thing. Mercy. Freedom has brought every convenience. Freedom has brought an assembly line production, which is pretty much, you look at a tackle box like this, and just look at this. Well, freedom brought that. You look at all the goods and appliances of household things that are so simple, like a sink. Freedom brought that. Central plumbing, design brought that. Electricity. What brought electricity? Freedom did. Microwaves, refrigerators, planes, automobile. What brought these things is, I wonder if some people today that are so resistant against freedom, trying to push socialism, trying to push communism, even understand They don't, because they weren't taught history the right way. This is not focusing. I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. Forgive me. Last point, not too much longer. This is an incredible piece of rhyolite found in Site 7, which is in rows. I'm telling you what, I have a lot of dirt. Mercy, this is a nice point to me, though. It's not at all uniform. But see, that's fine, because each one of these pieces, look at this side, is an expression of the North American Indian that needed it. That wasn't trying to replicate his buddy or trying to have the next best thing like his buddy did. These were sons and fathers who needed some food and who wanted freedom, but they did not have the resource. In the collision of hunter-gatherers, the collision of the Stone Age with modern man, didn't work. Nice point right there, isn't it? Unbelievable to me. That's unique as can be. Whew. So, as we finish up, as you can see, these, and check out the political interest link. Alex Jones and Dave Rubin, just an incredible conversation. Take it somewhere. It is a little longer, but I'm going to tell you what. If you give yourself to considering some of these things, you'll never be the same again. I don't want you to be radicalized. I don't want you to be anything but an advocate. Maybe at the grocery store, maybe to a friend, maybe to somebody who's really confused and doesn't know what's going on, that you can give a little bit of insight to. So, from Indian Trace to all of you out there, I appreciate you tuning in. That was the top talk for that side right there. Unbelievable pieces. More's coming in, I promise you. But this box, I mean, that's just the way it is right there. And then with those on that side, that's a full top talk we had today. Because that was one from every one of these bins right here that you look at. One. We could sail in anywhere and just take a look at them. And it would do the body good. So I don't know what else to share, except that's enough for today. Appreciate you tuning in to Indian Trace. Look at that point from Site 7. As I finish just quietly, sailing through some of the pieces that are sitting and resting safe. No worries. They're not going to be busted up anymore. No worries at all. And that makes me real happy. Real happy. So I guess all in all, I hope everybody finds out there. And you know I'm going to do what I can to seek and save, to not doubt, to keep moving forward, to keep my mind stirred up to preserve these opportunities, to seek and to save. Everybody, be well out there. Here comes the spring, right? We'll talk soon.